talk a little bit about some of those beliefs starting in childhood. And I agree with you. They do. And we hear constantly, be careful, you're going to get hurt, stay inside, it's too cold, it's not safe, whatever it is. And these things are repeated by what we consider to be authority figures as children. That could be
Hmm.
somebody at the daycare center. It could be a parent, it could be a teacher, it could be a relative, even a neighbor. And this planted our belief system, or maybe even disbelief of what we should believe. And we've internalized those, whether it be on the news, on social media, movies, whatever.
So let's bring in a concept that I think most of us can relate to, and it has to do with what a belief is. And I would just simply say it's a feeling of certainty about what something means. And it doesn't necessarily have to come from facts. Typically, it comes from repetition and then it gets emotionally reinforced. So, to your point, it could be things that we've heard over and over, particularly if those things were said from a person who was very emotional when they were saying it to us and it impacted our emotions. So, let's take an example. A kid hears, "You stink at math. God, you're just no good at math." And then they experience a few moments where they struggle in math. They may adopt that belief. I'm just not a math person. I have even said it. The truth is, I'm actually pretty good at math. But most people that hear that and get that belief system, they're going to probably avoid jobs, careers, things that involve math because that's only going to reinforce what they believe or what they've heard.
If you look at positive psychology, it adds one more layer. Beliefs aren't just formed by what we hear, but it's formed by our emotions and our thoughts. And a supportive environment can create beliefs like, I can achieve this, I can do things that I perceive to be difficult, while one that's critical and causes doubt continuously is going to reinforce, I'm not enough.
That's a killer. In all the years that I have listened to so many people and have worked in so many large settings, at the core of the problematic beliefs that most of us have is exactly what you said. I'm not enough. And, from a clinical psychology perspective, what those narratives are simply shortcuts. It's just little rules that we develop so we can navigate through life. If someone has experienced betrayal, for instance, they may adopt the belief, I can't trust people. This is where we probably will be talking about very soon how we turn those beliefs into rules and why we get upset at other people. Or some of us have had the experience of being upset and we cuss at things. So we want to figure out like why do we get upset?
I see that completely. A lot of times, what happens is the beliefs come from repetition. It comes from our thoughts, it comes from our emotion, it comes from even that self talk that we have. But where the tug of war actually starts is a lot of it comes from external factors. And we have that more today than we've ever had because we have social media. We have so many people sharing things that have no validation, just somebody's opinion. We have that when it comes to success or appearance or worth. We see that all the time with finances, always saying you'll never have enough. But who made that rule that there's never enough? Somebody stated that. It doesn't mean it's reality. And what we need to do is start to look at the message that we give ourselves, what we think about, our perception, and going back to that mental health. What we repeat becomes reality. And it's more of it's being willing to accept the thing. Perfection doesn't exist, but that repetition, those learning from mistakes, allows us to have all the success we need and we get mastery.
Ding, ding, ding. A lot of us here growing up, phrases like you mentioned in the previous podcast, dress for success, always put others first, always be on. I think these beliefs do drive a certain level of accomplishment. I think they also lead to burnout and stress, especially if they overshadow like that inner need that we have, that peacefulness and meditation, the states we get into when we do things like that.
I think that's great that you share that, Chris. It leaves me to a very short quote that I've heard and I repeat daily. I am present, not perfect. Perfect does not exist. It's so important to look inside because does this message, does this belief serve me? Does it add value? Is it good for me to believe I must work 12 hours to be successful? Because we know what's going to happen. My health, whether it be mental or physical or spiritual, is going to start to take a hit. And we have to be aware of what is the repercussion of what we do because every single action has an opposite reaction. Are we okay with that? And does it align with my values, not somebody else's who tried to influence my values?
That's important, is to understand the issues around values, and that's where reprogramming comes in. And it's not, something that people should be afraid of, because anytime you change any kind of thought habit or behavioral habit, you're reprogramming your own brain. You're washing your own brain of something that doesn't serve you, especially if you're asking the questions that you just mentioned, Lisa. The process of belief change only happens when when we have leverage over the belief or the rule that we've created. When the pain of holding on to whatever is limiting you as a belief, when it outweighs the comfort of staying the same, we talk about it in the biology of business, homeostasis. Your body is designed, your emotions are designed, your brain is designed to keep you constant. We're generally motivated to change because our body's constantly making adjustments, even when we don't know it.
And I agree. And even if you look at clinical psychology, the cognitive restructuring, challenging the distorted beliefs, we have to take time with replacing them with healthier, more adaptive ones. And why? Because over time, that constant messaging has an impact on us. And it's usually something that causes us pain and suffering, whether we want to admit it or not.
Exactly. Here's a practical thing that people can do, Lisa, is to just think about one belief that they hold and it might be causing them conflict. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Is it truly mine or was it handed down to me? And to Lisa's question earlier, the most important is to ask yourself, is it helping or hindering you? There are a lot of people who have beliefs about money that money is absolutely bad. There are a lot of people who have beliefs about spirituality that it is bad. There are a lot of people who don't trust people and think that interactions are bad. If you start questioning where those beliefs come from and ask yourself, is it truly my belief or did somebody else influence me because of their experience and I don't want to have that experience or it was handed over to me? And then ask yourself, is it really helping you? Is it helping you move forward? Is it helping you be a better person? I think that's the simplest strategy that we can offer. If people really examine their thoughts for their beliefs and then if they find any that are not serving them, an empowering belief, as you call them. For example, replace I can't handle failure with failure's a part of learning. Next time I won't do it that way.
Exactly. And our beliefs aren't permanent. Nothing is to say they need to be. We tend to hold on to them because it's easier. Because to change them, guess what? We have to change and be flexible. Neuroscience shows that our brains are capable of rewiring through practice and learning new things. And Chris, I'll say to you on some of the things that we've gone through, and you said, your normal behavior is to brush your teeth with one particular hand. And I have specifically done that and alternated hands. Why? Because I never thought about it before and went, this is really cool. What did that do? Allowed me to rewire. Because who knows what's going to happen? Maybe one time I have to use the other hand. And it allowed me to be intentional and really align my belief with my goals and values. I don't like to be restricted. It allowed me to get that light bulb moment, which was great.
And I think that alignment is the key to harmony. It doesn't matter whether it's personal growth, relationships, professional success. Managing our beliefs helps us navigate both the internal and external conflicts that we've previously talked about much more effectively.
I agree. So we're going to leave you with this thought. Your beliefs can either be the foundation of your growth or the walls of your limitations, like a prison. What do you choose?
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, take control of your beliefs, nurture your inner world, mind your thoughts, and remember, it's never too late to rewrite your story. Most often, it starts by looking at your beliefs.
And if you need any support examining your beliefs, developing empowering new beliefs that change your world, reach out. We're here to help you thrive. And thanks again for listening to Behavioral Echoes.
Be well, everyone. I'm Christopher Eady.
And I'm Lisa Oborn. Take care and see you next time.